Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Support for the community programming provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6 o'clock. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching cable channel 15 WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I am in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, Pete Coles. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning.
It is good to be back.
Yeah.
We are live.
Yes.
We are really live.
Yes.
This is not a best of show. I am here sporting my new haircut. So we'll
I noticed
see.
it got short.
Yes, it's very short. It's my summer look. Gary loves it. He said I look like I did when I was in high school and college. I don't know about that. But anyway, you know, happy guy. So
that's all
that matters, right?
Sure, yeah.
I feel like I look older, but my seniors insist that I look younger. So I'm not sure about that either. But you know what?
It's also lighter than it was.
It is a little lighter.
Yeah,
Yep,
we
did some highlights in there as well. So so it has been a month and a half since we've been on. So Pete and I have been able to sleep in a little bit on Wednesday mornings.
I got used to it because now this is the only day that I have to get up early.
I know. As a matter of fact, it was
So
funny.
I'm like you now.
Yeah, because when I wanted to get here early today, and I said, I haven't been in the studio in 6 weeks, not sure what I'm walking into, want to give myself plenty of time to get set up. We have some guests coming in second hour. And you weren't here, and I thought,
Right.
Oh my gosh, Pete must have really gotten used to this not getting up on Wednesday morning thing.
It's just been tough because I'm used to now sleeping a little later at night.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to get up. Because now, Mondays 8 o'clock. Tuesday tapes.
Yep. Tuesday's taped.
Thursday's
taped. Yep. I know.
And Friday's the regular, stuff we tape during the week. So
for me, it's funny. I know Gary said to me last night, he goes, he said, do you have your show in the morning? I said, yeah, what are you complaining about? You don't have to get up. And he goes, no, but he hears me. I try to be really quiet.
The dog wakes up.
Well, yeah, I don't have that because I said to him, he said, no, Tina, you're really quiet. But he said, I just kind of until I leave and then he's, off to back to sleep or whatever. But the funny thing is that alarm goes off and it's like, oh, but then once I'm up, if 10 minutes into it, I'm like, all right, well, I'm awake now. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm moving around. So a lot of stuff has happened in the time that we have not spoken to each other, Pete.
Yeah.
So first of all, for those viewers who need a recap, the reason that I was off for the 6 weeks was I did have my second foot surgery. So this is the other foot. So as I said to my seniors, I've run out of feet. There are no more foot surgeries happening in this body, I hope. And last Wednesday, I had my doctor's appointment last Wednesday. So I was non-weight bearing for 5 weeks. But you are going to love this, Pete. So I took 1 week off. So I had my surgery on a Wednesday morning. Mm-hmm. I took a week off. I came back the following Thursday. And Gary went in. I had all my medical equipment ready. So I had my scooter and everything downstairs waiting for me. So Gary dropped me off because I can't drive. It's my driving foot, and I was non-weight bearing anyway.
Sure, yeah.
So Gary brings the scooter out, and right behind him is Lynn Hills, our senior benefits coordinator. And she said to me, did anyone tell you that the elevator is broken? And
Ruh-roh.
I said, okay, nice joke, but, and she goes, no, really broken. So, so the elevator has not been working for the entire time that I have been having this foot issue. And
How hard is it to get an elevator repairman?
Well, it's not the elevator repair because 2 weeks into it, the elevator was repaired. We got somebody out there. We got Otis out there. The elevator's been repaired. The problem is that the state shut it off. And the state now has to come back to re-inspect it. Just like when you have your car, you fail inspection, you have to get it fixed, and then you have to re-inspect it.
Yeah.
Well, that's where we are. And now the problem is...
big surprise that they regulate something and then don't have enough people to unregulate it.
There you go. So there's the problem. So the problem is that we now wait until the state can fit us into their docket to come back. And because they have to... It's not like we can take the elevator someplace. They have to come back.
And we want the state to regulate more things.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, but no thank you. So the first 2 weeks, Pete, every time I went upstairs to my office, I had to do it on my butt because that was the only way I could get up there.
Oh man, that stinks.
Yeah, it stinks. And I can tell you there are 25 stairs from the bottom to the top. But by the third week, I had figured out, and I could come down standing because we have railings on each side. So I was able to come down standing, but try to get up facing forward doing it that way just took... I could do it, but by the time I got to the top, I had 0 arm strength left, and I was exhausted for an hour. So I said, I can't do that anymore. But I figured out by week 3 that if I went up backwards, standing up, holding onto the railings, just like the way I come down, but if I do it backwards going up, I could stand and do it. So that's what I did. So tremendous upper body strength. So I'm glad that I was in good shape. Carol Palmer was very proud of me for being able to get up and down the stairs. But I said to Gary, of course, my biggest problem was I couldn't hold anything because I needed the railings. So Gary suggested that I use a backpack. So I did. So I would take, and I tried to time it. I wouldn't go up and down 1,000 times, which is what I'm used to doing. So I would, do that a few times a day. So I wasn't really seen very much unless people came up to visit me. I called myself Rapunzel because I was up in this tower that, I couldn't really get down.
Yep.
But anyway, all of that is done. But however, the elevator is still, we are still awaiting the inspection. It's insane because we literally had to pretty much move all programs downstairs. We can't move the pool tables down. So the only people who can play pool are the ones who can get up and down the stairs, which is most of the guys, but still, it's crazy.
I was talking to Dennis Clark, our weights and measures guy.
Yes.
I've known him since Southwick. He used to be the public access director over there. And so he was telling me that the state came up with this wonderful idea to check and make sure that the EV charging stations, right?
Okay, yep. Mm-hmm.
Were distributing the proper amount of electricity, kind of like a gas pump.
Okay.
So they bought all the equipment, and
who bought the equipment?
The state bought the equipment.
The state bought the equipment to do the inspections.
To do the
check.
inspections
Okay.
and tests, right? Mm-hmm. And then they said, well, we don't have enough people to do it, so we're not going to do it.
That's the problem. They don't have the staff.
Then they said, well, we'll have the local guys do it, and we'll let them use the equipment. And then they said, well, we don't want to do that either. And I'm like...
Yeah. Yes.
So now this equipment is sitting there.
Right. I was going to say, can we think this through before we spend taxpayer dollars on equipment that is now, not being used?
Right. And why? Who cares?
Yeah.
Seriously,
right.
Who cares?
Right. Well, it was interesting because a few years ago when I was still director before Mike Squindo took over, we also had an elevator issue. We also had to have the state, come out and re-inspect. And when the guy came out to re-inspect, he was very, very nice. And of course, I greeted him with breakfast, coffee, and everything else I could think of. It's like, thank you for coming, But he said to me, we're not trying to be, a mean person about this or anything and not come out on purpose. He said the problem is that over the last several years, as elevator inspectors were retiring, they were not being replaced. So he said there are basically a couple of us, and we have to cover the whole state. From the Berkshires to the Cape. And, that's insane. And I've heard of assisted living facilities that still are waiting for their state inspections. There's nursing homes that are, come on.
Do they still have investigative reporting at the local TV stations? You should call them about that.
I don't know, Pete, but you know what? Channel 22 used to. Well, so did Channel 40.
Right.
That's a great idea. That is a really good idea.
Blow the lid off of it.
I'm on it. I think I'll just text my good friend Patrick Berry and say, who's down at LLP that can,
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane.
The problem, and that's the problem. The other problem is not a lot of people want to go into government service because it doesn't pay well. Like,
right.
I could be in the private sector and probably making more money.
We all could at this stage of the game.
Right, yeah. So, it's just like...
I know. It's funny. I've had conversations with people that have worked both for local, state, and federal government, and they said, those used to be prime jobs. I mean,
it was because of the benefits package.
It was because of the benefits. That's exactly it.
It was never the pay.
It was the job security and the benefits.
Yep.
And now it's you can't get people to take these jobs. It's
the building department trying to find inspectors. I know.
Yeah,
they had a tough time forever, and that the building inspections lag behind, and now we have somebody new doing that, and they've caught up.
Yes,
which is impressive.
Yes, because it takes a while. It really takes a while to catch up. It's really hard when you. And the other thing is that it's hard when somebody leaves, and then there's this gap. And now you have a new person. Well, there's nobody to train them and show them, this is how it's done. You've had people kind of filling in and helping out, and so that's a challenge too.
Yep.
But anyway, well, that's the story of the elevator and my transport up and down the stairs. I want to shout out to mostly my husband, my daughter a little bit, but really Gary was my Uber driver for 5 weeks. He was really awesome, and he managed to work, with around my insane schedule that we all know about that. So at week 5, which was last Wednesday, I got the go-ahead from my doctor to go ahead and bear weight, which was huge. I still have the special shoe on and everything, and it's slow going. It's actually slower going than when I was on the scooter, because on the scooter you could race around. I run the medical equipment loan program, thank goodness, because I had a scooter on each floor of the senior center, because I had to, because we didn't have an elevator. I had and at home I had a scooter on the first floor, a rollator walker on our second floor where the bedroom is, a platform walker down in the basement because we have a finished basement. I spent a fair amount of time down there, and a shower stool. And so, thankfully. So I've returned all the equipment now. Anything on wheels went back, so that's up for grabs. I'm still using the shower stool because there's a balance issue.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I'm still a little unsteady on my feet, and I have to be careful. So hopefully 2 more weeks, and then I should get the go-ahead. And I still have the ace bandage on everything, but hopefully the swelling will go down in the way it's supposed to. And
yeah, we're all injured. I'm suffering from the back injury.
So you've got the back thing going.
And that's kicked up sometime last week, and it was probably because of in and out of the truck, and so I'm not used to doing that. And we've had a busy couple of weeks in the truck. We had graduations.
Yep.
And then Brewfest right after that.
Yes.
And I ended up being
How did Brewfest go? I mean, it was a hot day.
It was really busy. We were busy. And then I figured out a way. I figured I'd bring the truck over there because it's easier to bring all the stuff. I usually do Wi-Fi for them.
Okay.
And then for the point of sale, stuff like that. And then we popped up the mast a couple of sections, and I was able to see the stage from bottom from the Westfield News lot.
Really?
Yes.
Where did they? I haven't been. I've always had a conflict with, I had my parish covered golf tournament on that day. But where was the stage? Where do you put the stage? In comparison to where the parking? I know where the parking lot is.
Well, no, it's not in the Westfield News lot. It's in the other lot, closer to Berkshire Bank.
Yes. Okay. So that's where the Brewfest is.
Right. And then all the brewers tend to park in the Westfield News /
Gotcha.
Levesque parking lot.
Yes.
But we parked the truck down there, and I did Wi-Fi up on the thing, and then I was able to pop up just over the tent. So 2 sections got me up 20 feet, and I was able to see the stage, and then I got an audio feed from Jay. So I ended up broadcasting all the bands on 107.5 and Channel 15 all day.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I didn't,
wow.
with the kidney issues and stuff like that, I didn't really drink a lot.
Yes.
And after 2 days and all week with the kids and everything else, I actually was spent.
Yeah.
I was emotionally spent.
Oh, yeah.
I was physically spent. and I enjoyed the quiet, just listening to music.
Yes.
Not have to like entertain.
Yes. Yeah.
Not that I don't enjoy talking to people.
Yeah.
I was just tired.
Yeah. I can tell you, Pete,
Tired.
this
I was exhausted.
Yeah, this stretch of May into June, this last 6 weeks, it's the same thing. And Gary asked me, like, my schedule was so packed, and Gary said to me, if you had to do it all over again, would you have done it now?
Later.
You know, would you
Yeah.
have done it now? Would you have waited? And I said, well, my thought process when I was planning this surgery was I'll do it in early May because it's an 8-week start to finish pretty much.
Yeah.
And then I figured, and literally it'll be like July 1 where I should get the go ahead to, you know, everything should be fairly normal. So my thought was at the time, it'll give me my summer, you know, July and August. I really didn't want to be running around not running around, hobbling around in a boot in the heat of July and August. But there was just so much stuff going on. I mean, I'm going to do a bit of a recap after the break about some of the things that have happened at the senior center. I had the parish covered golf tournament, which I'm on the golf committee, you know, so there was all that stuff going on. You know, we had Mother's Day, we had Father's Day, we had a big concert at the senior center, we had a car show at the senior. I mean, there was all this stuff happening. And tonight is like, for me, the last night. We have attorney Mary Powers is going to be speaking at the senior center tonight. And I think in terms of all the specials going on, like for the last 6 weeks, that's kind of the end of it. You know, everything else is, you know, kind of, I mean, we have some special things, but nothing like wild and crazy like we've had. And I'm right there with you. I am exhausted.
Right. And so we got a request from the chairman of finance to video all the budget meetings.
Yeah.
And they've structured them differently. They like it was old school way where it was just the finance committee and then maybe one or two counselors that wanted to show up.
Okay.
And they kind of gave presentations. They really didn't present any cuts. They're going to do that. I think they're going to do that tonight.
Yes, that is supposed.
Yes,
that is supposed to be happening. Or is it? Yes, I believe that it is happening tonight. Yes.
Right. So there's that, and then. So I got stuck doing all those because Kenny's been busy with other stuff and Justin's been busy with other stuff. So I had to do all those interspersed with all the graduations, and then we had the F-35 arrivals, and the shows wanted to be up there.
And Kenny was at Pride at the flag raising. We had all the Pride stuff going on. That's the other big, committee that I'm on, and like all of that for a week. So it was like,
it's just been nonstop.
It has
for 2
been
weeks.
nonstop.
And then I had a once in a lifetime opportunity to go chase the big boy Union Pacific steam engine out in New York State. And the closest approach was 3 hours away. And Kenny had an event at 52 the night before. I had the F-35 thing the night before. And we hopped in the car and we went out to New York State.
You went.
Yeah.
Did you catch it? I mean, did you catch it?
Had we planned a little bit better, we probably could have chased it.
Okay.
But we were both tired.
Yeah.
We got one spot. Kenny got some great drone footage, and I got some great pictures. And then we caught up with it again in Binghamton. But the problem is that area is so small.
Yeah.
It's not made for the thousands of people that were there. So we got our shot, and we hurried back to the car, but Kenny wasn't really fast. And we got behind the wave of cars.
Oh, yeah.
So if I had thought about it on the way down there, I would have got coming into town.
Yes.
It had a half an hour stop. We could have got on the road ahead of it.
Yeah.
And as soon as we heard it rolling out, because we had radios, as soon as we heard it rolling out, we could have got on the road and stayed ahead of the tidal wave of cars. It was an adventure, though, Pete. It wasn't terrible.
I
mean, but it was like I could have done this so much better had I thought about it. But we were both just tired.
You know what happens, though? I just find that, though, when you're physically exhausted, and like at the end of every day for the last 6 weeks, I mean, it just took a tremendous amount of physical energy to move around.
Too.
And you're just mentally exhausted. Like by the time I got home, I just say to Gary, like, I can't think. Basically all I can do is watch some TV and go to bed. I mean, I'm done. So I understand. I absolutely understand. Well, let's take a little bit of a break. It is 6:17. If you're just joining us, you are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching WCPC Cable Channel 15. We're going to take just a little break here. We're going to listen to Linda Ronstadt. We're going to listen to her sing Heat Wave because that's what we've been in, but it's not bad. The last couple days have been beautiful. What?
Do I have that song?
Do you have that song?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay, there you go. So we're going to listen to Linda Ronstadt's Heat Wave.
Support for community programming provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. Visit bettsplumbing.com or 14 Coleman Avenue, Westfield. Public welcome.
Listen to me, Michael Buster McMahon, Mondays 8 to 10 a.m. to learn the stories behind your favorite songs. Or don't. I'm not the boss of you.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:21. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching Cable Channel 15, WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board and our chief engineer, Pete Coles, and we are live this morning. We are back from all of our best of shows. So I hope that you enjoyed it. I actually, tuned into some of them, and I love the one with the Knappich brothers. I thought that was just that was a great show.
They're both characters.
They are characters, and it was it was fun.
Just saying,
fun to stroll down memory lane. So I mentioned, Pete, that we had all kinds of things happening at the senior center in the interim while I've been gone. So just to recap, a couple of programs. One of them was brand new, so that was an interesting one. We did during Pride Week. I mentioned we had Pride Week, and we usually try to do at least one or two things at the senior center. Well, this year we did Pride hosted family gift card bingo. We did an evening family gift card bingo on June 3rd. Very successful, full house. I mean, it was a full, which I knew it would be. Gift card bingo, it's always a hit during the day. And, now that it's staying light out longer, it was from 6 to 7:30. So that was a ton of fun. When I had a Pride meeting the other night, and we were, kind of going through and reviewing all the Pride events and what worked and we had hits and misses. What would we do differently and so forth. And they were hysterical because they said, well, the bingo was very successful, and those people are completely serious about, the bingo that,
Yes.
so I said, oh, yes, they were. But
My mom
anyway,
started to do bingo at the Wilbrahams. No, the Hamden Senior Center.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's very serious, especially when we have gift cards at stakes. And we had $10 gift cards, they were really nice gifts that Pride came through. And then on the lesson, like 4 or 5 days later, we had our first ever car show, classic car show at the Senior Center. It was Cruisin' with Bruce Marshall. We did it on a Sunday morning. We did it on Sunday, June 7th from 9 to 11. It was fabulous. Well, first of all, the day was picture perfect. I mean, it was a beautiful day.
Whole weekend was
yes,
nice.
that whole weekend was nice. It was the day after the Brew Fest, but it was cooler on Sunday, especially in the morning.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely beautiful. We ended up, because you don't really know how many cars are going to show up, but because it was such a nice day, we had 50 classic cars in the Senior Center parking lot.
That's a great turnout.
It was a wonderful turnout. Bruce was there, obviously DJing and WARE, and then we had a food truck, and it was great. They were new to the city, so they just became a vendor. I don't know where Joanne Boucher found them, but anyway, it was a great food truck. And I said to the owner, I said, listen, I know it's a pain in the neck to become a vendor of the city. You have to do this paperwork. But I said, once you're in, you're in. You only have to do it once. And so that way, it was just a home run all the way around. And we obviously had seniors coming over. But what was really cool was we had a lot of neighbors. We had a lot of people from Noble Street and the surrounding area, because I was working the exit on my scooter. I was still non-weight bearing then, so I'm out on my scooter just making sure that people didn't enter the exit, because if you're not familiar with the Senior Center, you don't necessarily know. And we had a lot of neighbors that walked over. They heard the music, and it's like, what's going on? And there was a couple that came over, and they live across the street somewhere, and they kind of, wandered over, and then they left about 5 minutes later, and I thought, oh, well, and they were younger, and I thought, oh, well, I was hoping they would stay longer. Well, no, they went home to get their daughter to come back, and she was maybe 8, 10, something like that. So they came back, and they got breakfast at the food truck, and then they went and looked at all the cars. So my daughter came, and my granddaughter, and Mike Squindo was there with his family, Liz and the kids, and so it was a family event. Anyway, it was great. Bruce said it was he was so pleased. Bruce Marshall was so pleased. I saw him yesterday, and he said, we need to do it again. He said, so we're going to plan another one for the fall. And that Sunday morning slot worked. It was just a great fun thing to do. And then this past Friday evening, we had Ray Gomet at the Senior Center, and we did a Ray of Elvis concert, and we celebrated fathers. So it was everything. We celebrated everything June. So we celebrated fathers, grandfathers, godfathers. We celebrated the return of Senator Velas, who came back during my time off the air from his deployment with the National Guard. And he was there on Friday night. And we celebrated Flag Day, because it was Flag Day over the weekend. And we celebrated Pride Month. So we had all kinds of things happening. Sold out crowd. I mean, we had 160 people at the Senior Center on Friday night. And Ray puts on a great show. Everybody went home with an ice cream sundae. It was an absolute home run, and I also want to do a shout out to Alex Hibbert, who is our maintenance craftsman at the Senior Center. And Alex was off. That was a scheduled day off for him on Friday. And he did such a great job of, we had canceled bingo for Friday because we needed to get the room set up. And so Alex on Thursday before he left had set up like 3/4 of the room, but we had breakfast Friday morning. And he did all the breakfast tables. He brought in tables from the other rooms that are on wheels, because I had to help get this thing ready. And he knew I couldn't be moving big tables that I normally would, no problem.
Sure, yeah.
So anyway, and of course we had a crisis on Friday because Mike Squindo was supposed to help us set up the room, but we dealt with our water cooler on the second floor backed up. So then we had like a flood up there. So Mike was dealing with that. And so I was trying to, help set up. And we hired somebody.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we hired somebody. We also have a new hire at the Senior Center, Elena, whose last name I can't pronounce. At least she's Russian, so I can't pronounce the last name. But anyway, she's wonderful. She's our new transportation coordinator because we have a van on the way. So
Yeah, sure, yeah.
so we're excited about that. So lots of things happening over at the senior center. We'll take a little breather here and just talk a little bit about the fact that June is Aphasia Awareness Month. And I think this is really important for our seniors. I've dealt with lots of seniors who have had aphasia, usually the result of a stroke. But let's talk about what that means. This is a time dedicated to bringing awareness, education, support, and understanding about the communication disorder aphasia. So imagine waking up from a stroke to realize you've survived, you've made it through the stroke, only to discover part of you is still missing, and that would be your voice. So aphasia is a communication disorder that can affect a person's ability to speak, understand, write, or read. It is most commonly acquired as a result of a stroke, but it can also be caused by illness or infection. It is very isolating for the person with aphasia as well as for their family and friends. So aphasia has an awareness problem. Like a lot of people aren't even familiar with the word. According to data from the National Aphasia Association, 2 million people across the United States have aphasia, but 84.5% of Americans have never even heard the term before. It's more common than cerebral palsy, multiple sclerosis, ALS, Parkinson's disease, and muscular dystrophy combined. And while most people have probably heard of those other conditions, they're unfamiliar with aphasia. It's important to build awareness because, as we know, that is the first and most crucial step in finding public and political support. Aphasia does not discriminate. People of all races, ages, nationalities, and genders can become aphasic. 85% of aphasia is the result of stroke, but other causes include traumatic brain injury, brain tumors, degenerative disease, and metabolic changes. The fact that aphasia is a communication disorder, i.e., it can take away a person's literal and figurative voice, it is fairly invisible, meaning that it's less commonly known and understood among the general population. Yet chances are that if you know someone who's had a stroke, that person may have struggled with communication immediately, or they may still struggle with it. Aphasia can vary in type and severity. Some people recover fully. Most make some progress, but some will never be able to communicate in the same ways again. Aphasia can improve with access to proper therapy and treatment, the most effective of which is intensive, comprehensive speech-language therapy. People with aphasia who receive around 8 to 10 hours of treatment per week show more progress than those who do not. And aphasia can really take a lot of forms. I think it wasn't until I was kind of into my career several years that I realized that, because I worked with a lot of people who couldn't speak at all or who had very limited language. I had one woman who I worked with in it was my second job. When Gary was in chiropractic school, I was out in Iowa. She had had a massive stroke, and the only word she could say was no, even though she had understanding. And if you asked her a question, she would respond with no, because that was the only word that she could say, but she would nod her head yes. Mm-hmm. So she would nod yes or shake no, depending on what message she was trying to get back to you. Some people can speak okay, but they can't write, or they can't read. Yep. It just takes all different forms. And I was actually talking to a stroke survivor recently. I went to a luncheon and she was there. She used to work at the YMCA and had a pretty massive stroke a few years ago. And she said she feels like her speech is still quite limited. I told her, I said, I think you're doing remarkably well, because she was, I think, very affected. Her speech was very affected immediately post-stroke. But she said what she finds now is that as the day wears on and she gets tired, and it's just what you and I were talking about, Pete, a few minutes ago, when you get tired.
You get brain fog when you get tired.
Yes.
Generally.
Yes. And she said she really struggles with word finding and word pronunciation when it's later in the day. I was talking to her. We were at a luncheon with Carol Palmer's group. We were here. That was the day we had lunch here. So that was in April or May sometime.
Yep.
And she was doing fine at that time of the day. A little slow. She had to kind of really think it through. So, and the problem is aphasia is an invisible disability. You don't see it. The person looks fine. You don't know until they try to get their message across. So just be aware. June is also National DJ Month, Pete. So National DJ Month celebrates the energy and talent of those behind the turntables. These music curators bring life to parties, weddings, and late night drives. Great DJs don't just play songs. They shape, I love that because I agree with that. They shape moments, read the room, and keep everyone moving.
That's the toughest part.
It is I've never done it, but
people don't understand that when you don't get like suggestions or people don't come visit you.
Yes.
Like
you're on your own.
Your brain starts rolling.
Yeah, you're on your own. And now, as Gary was pointing out, he said, remember the good old days when like a wedding reception was like 3 hours and now it's like 5 or 6? And a DJ's that's a lot of time to fill with, 3 or 4 minute songs. So their timing, taste, and instinct turn an ordinary event into something unforgettable. And I personally feel like a DJ can make it or break it. I mean, an event can be so good or not so good. Mm-hmm. This month is a chance to appreciate the effort that often goes unnoticed. DJs work hard to keep the vibe alive, whether on stage or over the airwaves. They connect people through rhythm and mood, creating soundtracks for good times and memories. National DJ Month reminds us how much a well-played mix can change everything. National DJ Month began in 2018. A nonprofit group called Musician Veterans Senior started it to recognize DJs and their influence. The goal was simple: give credit to the people who shape soundtracks for so many moments. DJs bring energy, emotion, and movement to nearly every kind of gathering, from weddings to clubs, radio shows to streaming events. Their role goes far beyond just pressing play. The organization behind the month believed DJs deserved more respect. They wanted people to understand the work behind the music. Mixing, reading the room, and keeping the flow takes skill. This month gives DJs a space to be seen, heard, and valued. It highlights the creative minds behind the booth. Every June, people across the country take time to support, learn about, and celebrate DJs. Events pop up, conversations start, fans dig deeper into the sounds they love. Some even try mixing tracks for the first time. Since its beginning, National DJ Month has grown. More people now recognize the power of what DJs do. Their work connects us, lifts moods, and sets the pace for unforgettable nights. This month gives them a moment in the spotlight, and they've earned it. All right, it is 6:36. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching cable channel 15, WCPC. We are celebrating Pride Month all month long in June. So we're going to listen to Katie Pruitt singing Loving Her. We'll be back.
Nothing else up there I can need. And if I'm sinning every day, guess I'll sin all 7. If I can still have her by the end of the week. Ooh. And if loving her's a drug, then I wanna be addicted. Why would I get clean when the high's this good? And she says I'm the only one who can hit it, and all the other druggies just wish they could. People don't like what they don't understand. No, people don't like what they don't understand. And you can shake your head, you can clench your fist, you can judge all the roads, you can just be pissed. You can say it's wrong, you can say a prayer. While you're doing that, I'll be over there, loving her.
Underwriting for the community programming is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield. Great futures start here.
Hi, this is Harry Rock, host of Rock on Westfield every fourth Wednesday at 8 a.m. Tune in for my view of this place I call home.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:42. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching cable channel 15 WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. Pete Coles is behind the glass. Pete is our chief engineer and the man, we call him the chairman of the board. And we are live this morning. So, happy to be back. I'm happy to be back. Pete would have liked to sleep in a little bit, but I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, once we're on a roll, Pete, what the heck. So we do have one more big program tonight at the Senior Center. I mentioned it before. I will mention it now, and I'll mention it again before we go off air. We have our Elder Law 2026 program. So this is a program that is sponsored by the Massachusetts Bar Association. Every year, any senior center who would like, we all get invited to participate. If you want to have a legal presentation, I always say yes because it is free of charge for the senior centers. And what will happen is the Bar Association actually matches the senior centers who want a presenter and the attorneys who are willing to do a presentation. And it rotates around. We've had, probably over the years I've been doing this, I bet we've probably had about 6 or 8 different attorneys over the years, do presentations. So tonight, Mary Pyre Powers will be with us. Mary has been with us before, but not for several years. I don't think Mary did a program for us. COVID. She did one of the Westfield Council on Aging Presents.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Because that was her year to do the Elder Law Education Project. But anyway, Mary will be there tonight. We'll be at the Senior Center tonight. It starts at 6 o'clock. So it'll go from about to 6 to 7. There will be time for questions and answers. And there were some specific topics that I asked Mary to cover. We always cover durable power of attorney, so people have an understanding of what that is and why it's important to set that up ahead of time. We'll also talk about healthcare proxy, the same. Mary's also going to talk about trusts and including irrevocable trusts. So why those might be a good idea for people to set up, before the time comes. And I asked her to do this one, and that is second marriage estate planning. So I am finding that in the support groups that I run, I have people in there, I've got several people in there. It's a second marriage. There were children from both marriages. Now, if something happens to one person, there's a lot of confusion because I work with them after, usually it's during the grief process. So not only are we dealing with the loss of a spouse, But now we're dealing with all this family stuff with, well, I thought the house was going to us, and we thought the house was going over here, and we thought this was going to so-and-so. There's a lot of planning that really should be done ahead of time, because trying to pick up the pieces after the fact, when you've got children and stepchildren and all of those things. So Mary's going to cover some of that and some of the things to be. I've had attorneys who have mentioned how problematic that can be, but I've never had an attorney who's addressed it head on to say, this is what you need to do in advance, just so that everybody's on the same page. So anyway, again, there will be time for questions and answers. Family members are welcome and encouraged to attend. So you don't need to be a senior, but if you have parents who are older and, you need to come in and figure out what needs to happen ahead of time. So no pre-registration. You don't have to sign up in advance. Just show up at the Senior Center tonight, 6 o'clock. I know Mary's got handouts. We have all kinds of information. All right, so that's that. I also, you will notice if you go to the Senior Center today, I talked before I took off for the month of May about the FACES program at Westfield State University. This is a program that supports current and former foster youth, students experiencing homelessness, and youth who have experienced other forms of substitute care. Well, I got kind of a crisis call from Sue Figge last week, asking for our help, because she said what has happened the last couple of years is that the university has provided housing for those students, because these are students who have aged out of foster care, and they virtually are kind of homeless,
Yep.
So they're at the college during the school year, and then they're either couch surfing or living in their cars for the summer. So the university last year opened up the dorms for those students so they could stay at the university. Last year, the university also provided a food program. This year, they're not providing the food program. I think funding has been cut. They are going to allow the students to stay at the university. So they have a roof over their head. They'll have housing, but they need food. So we are doing a food drive at the Senior Center this summer. It's the FACES food wish list. I have set everything up in the lobby. I have the shopping wish list, and I have copies that people can if you'd like to help out. My thing is this, I've said to the seniors before, nobody has to bring a lot, but, we have hundreds of people, literally, that come into the Senior Center every day. Mm-hmm. If everybody, once a week brings in 1 or 2 items, we're good. I mean, we've got 45 students that we need to feed for 2 months. So we have, the list, the kinds of things we're looking for: canned fruits and vegetables, spaghetti sauce, pasta, macaroni and cheese, peanut butter and jelly, protein bars, canned tuna or canned chicken, cereal, granola, hearty canned soups, maybe the instant oatmeal, brownie mix, cake mixes and things like that, because they would like a little dessert as well. So all of that, we'll be collecting them at the Senior Center, and that is for the general public as well, not just for the seniors. So the Senior Center is kind of going to be kind of a drop-off spot. And then I've got people from the FACES board, Sue Figge, Jill Adams, are a bunch of them in the area, who will be, then picking up periodically, a couple times a week, any food that we've collected and getting it over to the college. So if you can help us out with that, that would be awesome. Ballroom Dancing with Richie Mitnick is on the 4th Tuesday of the month. So that's coming up next Tuesday on the 23rd. No sign-ups, no charge. This is complimentary, thanks to the Friends of the Westfield Senior Center. So Richie's at the Senior Center every month, playing live music from 1:30 to 3:30. So this time, again, it'll be June 23rd next week. And, as Richie said, even if you don't dance, feel free to come and listen to the music and watch the dancers, and it's just a great social time, and people are taking advantage of that. I mean, what the heck, it's live music. And the dancers who are there, the couples that are doing it, some of them are really quite polished, I mean, it's not quite Dancing with the Stars, but they've been dancing for a long time. Yeah. It's fun to watch, and it's just it's fun to chat, and it's a good gathering place. So feel free, don't feel like, oh, I can't go because I don't dance or I can't dance or whatever. It's like, no, come and watch and listen to the music and socialize and have a wonderful time. Next Thursday, and I believe we still have openings for this, we're doing the Great Room Cook-In Picnic. You've heard of a cook-out. Well, we're not cooking out. We're cooking in. So we're having a picnic lunch with cheeseburgers, hot dogs, potato salad. And then we're going to, for dessert, have an ice cream treat courtesy of Shiloh Angels Home Care. You do have to sign up for this, and I know the list was getting pretty hefty, so I think we still have openings, but if not, it's next Thursday, June 25th. I mean, you can sign up until the day before if we have slots available, and my guess is that we won't have slots available, so sign up now. All right, it is 6:50, and so you are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching cable channel 15, WCPC, and in honor of Aphasia Awareness Month, we're going to listen to the Bee Gees singing Jive Talkin'. We'll be back.
Listen to me, Michael Buster McMahon, Mondays 8 to 10 a.m. to learn the stories behind your favorite songs. Or don't. I'm not the boss of you.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:54. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching Cable Channel 15, WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in the studio this morning with Pete Coles, Chairman of the Board, Chief Engineer. We are back live, and we're happy to be here. All right, June is National Give a Bunch of Balloons Month, and every day in June, National Give a Bunch of Balloons Month brings joy to a child, or I would also argue an adult, battling an illness or struggling with a life-altering diagnosis. When limitations, treatments, or hospital stays prevent children from the joys of childhood, their smiles fade. National Give a Bunch of Balloons Month encourages giving children we know with an illness something to smile about by bringing them a bunch of balloons. Often days of treatments and the restrictions associated with an illness are long and tiring. Being ill is no fun, especially for a child. A delightful bouquet of balloons brings energy to a room and delivers a smile to a child's face. While it may not be a cure, the balloons brighten their day and add a distraction from the mundane reality. If you know a child who is ill at home or spending time in the hospital, give him or her a bunch of brightly colored balloons. Maybe find out their favorite color or cartoon character and include a message just for them. The smile you receive will be worth more than anything that money can buy. So, and also balloons you don't have to worry about, are they allergic to something? Am I bringing, flowers with pollen or whatever? And again, I would argue that I have an almost 3-year-old in my house, and balloons are a big deal. But I would argue adults, really, they brighten anybody's day. June is also Cataract Awareness Month. So more than half of all Americans aged 80 or older either have cataracts or have had surgery to remove cataracts.
Some of us age 50 and older have cataracts.
Yeah, it's common. It's really common. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, cataract is the leading cause of vision loss in the United States and the leading cause of blindness worldwide. A cataract is a clouding of the eye's lens, which blocks or changes the passage of light into the eye. It's kind of like looking through a dirty windshield, or like a piece of wax paper is kind of what you get.
Yep.
The lens of the eye is located behind the pupil and the colored iris, and it should be transparent, so it should be like a window. The lens helps to focus images onto the retina, which transmits the images to the brain. There are several possible risk factors for cataracts, and the very first one is age. And I actually talked to an optometrist years ago who told me that if people live long enough, everyone will get cataracts at some point. And it's just, for some, it's very mild. It really doesn't have much of an impact.
My doctor told me it's very mild, and I don't have to worry about it just yet.
Yeah, and you know what, Pete? The reality is that for most people, they don't really have to do anything unless it begins to affect, their activities of daily living or the things that they enjoy. I love to read, but it's getting harder and harder, or it's getting harder to drive or whatever. And that's when, they usually recommend surgery. Other risk factors include intense heat or long-term exposure to UVAs from the sun, certain illnesses or diseases such as diabetes, hereditary influences, events before birth such as German measles in the mother, long-term steroid use, eye injury, eye diseases, and smoking also increase your risk factors for cataracts. For some adults or children with cataract, surgery may be recommended by an eye doctor. Cataract surgery is one of the most common operations in the United States. 9 out of 10 people who undergo cataract surgery can see better afterwards, with most people being completely healed 8 weeks after their surgery. And, I had this conversation with somebody recently who had cataract surgery, and I can remember when I first started in the field, which was well over 40 years ago. So it was a long time ago. But cataract surgery was at that time kind of a big deal. And the recuperation was way more than it is now. I mean, you weren't allowed to bend over. You weren't allowed to, like stoop down to pick anything up. So people had to get, caregivers lined up for at least the first week after their surgery. It was, it was really major. And now it's like hip replacements too. When I started in the field, that was the same thing. It was like a 7-day hospitalization. Good grief. Now they're sending you home like 2 hours later. So anyway, happy National Cataract Awareness Month. So I want to just briefly go over what I consider to be an important announcement. So let me give you a little bit of history and background with this. Prior to the pandemic, there was a gym in East Hampton called Duffy.
Yep.
And it was a gym specifically for people with Parkinson's disease. And I heard about it at the time Patrick Berry owned the Westfield News, and one of his reporters told me about it and said, Tina, you have to see this place. So I did. I went up, and Pete, you may or may not remember that I got the owner down here and we had him on the show.
Yep.
And the reason he started, he was a physical therapist, and he started it because I believe it was his mother who had been diagnosed with Parkinson's. He started working with her and kind of designing, exercises and fitness programs and so forth. And it morphed into this gym. Well, all was great until the pandemic hit. And then DopaFit didn't make it through the pandemic, like a lot of businesses. It just didn't make it, and it closed. But it left a gap for all those people that were, all those people with Parkinson's disease who were doing their fitness programs there. So Michelle Urbanski from the YMCA, who also does our mail call class at the fitness center, saw that need, and she and Andrea Allard decided that they would take up that slack and create a program at the YMCA. So, that required obviously specialized training for Michelle, which she went through all of the training, became certified, and opened up a class for people with Parkinson's at the YMCA. Now it's probably been at least 3 years. We may even be going on to 4, but let's say 3 years. She and I had discussed the idea of doing a support group. She would do the physical gym part of it, and I would run some type of a support group, or I would arrange to have a support group run. So then, when Mike Squindo took over at the senior center, and I was still trying to figure out my job, and I didn't have time.
Yep.
So it kind of got put on the back burner. But Michelle kind of always, periodically, like every 6 months, she'd say, "Are we still? Is that the goal?" And I said, "Yes, it is the goal." Well, the goal is now being realized. So Michelle and I had met a few months ago, and what we decided to do was this: we both agreed that the group that really needs this support group are actually not the people with Parkinson's, because they've got their own support group going on with her class. They're meeting twice a week, Mondays and Fridays. It's well attended. She's got a steady group in there, but it's the caregivers. And so I am I'm calling it Parkinson Partners. It's a support group. It's open to spouses, partners, children, siblings, and friends who are actively engaged in caring for someone with Parkinson's disease. And it can really be any level of Parkinson's, because much like Alzheimer's, there are all kinds of stages and levels and, beginning and more advanced and so forth. So this will really be an opportunity for the caregivers to share concerns, resources, information, and their successes, and hopefully I plan to run it and facilitate it the way I do my other support groups. I'm not calling it an education group because although I know the basics of Parkinson's and taught it for years over at Springfield College, it was just at a very basic level. So I have now immersed myself into sort of the latest research and so forth. But this is really more of a group for caregivers to share their own, what they're learning about it, things that worked for them, much like we do in our Side-by-Side and my Stand By Me group. So this group is going to start meeting in July. We're going to meet the second Friday of the month from 11 to 12:30. The introductory meeting will be Friday, July 10th. So I'm announcing it on this show because Michelle has now announced it at her Parkinson group, And that word is out because I'm already getting phone calls from people saying, hey, I hear you're starting this support group, which is wonderful. Michelle really feels like this is something that's very much needed.
Sure,
so
yeah.
anyway, we'll talk more about that, but I'm just kind of throwing that out there because the YMCA has been posting it. I do have the flyer posted at the Senior Center in a couple of places. So feel free if anybody wants to call me and ask me about it. We can chat more. All right, it is 7:04. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching cable channel 15 WCPC. We'll take our top of the hour break and we'll be back.
What you want, baby, I got it. What you need, you know I got it. All I'm asking is for a little respect when you come home. Just a little bit, baby, just a little bit. Just a little bit, mister, just a little bit. I ain't gonna do you wrong while you're gone. I ain't gonna do you wrong 'cause I don't wanna. All I'm asking is for a little respect. Just a little bit, baby. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm out to give you all my money. And all I'm asking in return, honey, is to give me my breakfast when you get home. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a Ooh, your kisses, sweeter than honey. And guess what? So is my money. All I want you to do for me is give it to me when you get home. Yeah, baby, whip it to me. Just a little bit now, just a little bit. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, T-F-T-C-T. Sock it to me, sock it to me, sock it to me, little Rich say. Sock it to me, sock it to me, sock it to me. Woo! Hey, little bit, little Rich say. Just a little bit. I'll get tired. Just a little bit. Keep on trying. Just a little bit. You're running out of food. Little bit. I ain't lying. Just a little bit. Please stop me when you're home. Where you stay walking.
Hi, it's Bob Plass, and I have Wow, it's Tuesday, every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Wow, it's Tuesday.
Community radio.
107.5 FM WSFD.
I did it!
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:07. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching cable channel 15 WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board and our chief engineer, Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
All right, so a couple of announcements, and we have some guests waiting in the wings. This month, because of the holiday on Friday, I want to remind people that Friday's Juneteenth, so the city offices are closed. The senior center is closed, and I know, much to the disappointment of our bingo players, there's no bingo. And of course, we didn't have bingo last week because we had the Ray of Elvis concert that we were setting up for. However, I promised our bingo players that we would have something special for them at the end of the month. So we are calling it on the last Friday of the month, which is our normal gift card bingo. We're calling this our gift card bingo bonus. So we'll have some extra prizes going on next Friday. So that'll be on June 26th. So all the bingo people, rest assured, don't worry about it. We got you covered. But just remember that this Friday, the senior center is closed. Also, as a reminder, we moved beginner line dancing from Mondays to Wednesdays this month. So they are meeting now Wednesdays from 11 to 12:30. I know I think it was the first Wednesday of the month, or the first Monday of the month, somebody came and said, hey, what happened to line dancing? So just making that announcement, we did put there was an article in the newsletter, in the June newsletter, and I do have flyers up, just as a reminder. So for those of you who are doing the beginning line dancing class, Wednesdays now, it's $3, no advance sign-ups, 11 to 12:30. They're having a blast in there. It's a nice group. It's a big group.
Yeah.
And then Fridays from 2 to 3, we are doing yoga for strength. The instructor is Angelica Lopez. It's $5 pay as you go. So again, there's no advanced signups. Concentration on simple movements, balance improvement, and support for everyday activities. Of course, I promised my friends at Stanley Park that I would do reminders about the summer concert series, their Sunday evening concert series. So this Sunday, June 21st, Bridges Road Band, Western Mass-based 7 Bridges Road Band is a 5-piece band presenting the much-loved music of the Eagles in an all-acoustic format, allowing the vocal and instrumental talents of the band to shine. So those concerts are held in the Beverage Pavilion. They begin at 6 o'clock and have a suggested donation of $5 a person. Chairs are provided, and food service will be available starting at 5 o'clock, so an hour before the concert, from the Bubble Mug Cafe at the Pottery Cellar. And you can get all the information on the upcoming concerts on the website, which is www.stanleypark.org. So we'll make those announcements as they happen. And then, of course, beginning in July, we'll have the children's series, the Friday Morning Children's Series, and I'll be making those announcements when we get into July. One final announcement before we take a break and bring our guests in. I do, again, want to remind folks about the Elder Law 2026 program that we have at the Senior Center tonight at 6 o'clock. No sign-ups. It's really important. I cannot stress to you enough how important it is to get at least some of your legal affairs in order while you are still able to do so, and not leave this up to your family. So, for all of you people who say, I don't want to be a burden to my children, the thing that you can do so that you are not a burden to your children is get your own legal affairs in order while you can do it, and don't leave it up to your kids to try to figure out what they think you would want done. So that's the best I can say it. So Mary Powers will be there. Attorney Powers will be there tonight at the Senior Center, 6 o'clock. There will be time for questions, and Mary will stay. So if, people want to kind of chat with her, privately afterward a little bit, I think she's amenable to that as well. All right, we are going to take a short break, so I have some time to bring my two guests in and get to the topic at hand. And it's National DJ Awareness Month, or National DJ Month. We're celebrating DJs. So Pete, I found this song by In Deep. It's called "Last Night a DJ Saved My Life." I mean, does it get better than that? You're listening to WSFD 107.5 FM. You are watching cable channel 15 WCPC, and I'll be back.
Last night a DJ saved my life. Last night a DJ saved my life, yeah. 'Cause I was sitting there bored to death, and in just one breath he said, you gotta get up, you gotta get off, you gotta get down, girl. You know you drive me crazy, baby. You've got to turn into another man. Called you on the phone, no one's home. Baby, why leave me all alone? And if it wasn't for the music, I don't know what I'd do. Yeah. Last night a DJ saved my life. Last night a DJ saved my life from a broken heart. Last night a DJ saved my life. Last night a DJ saved my life with a song. I hopped into my car didn't get very far, no. Before I had you on my mind, why be so unkind? You've got your women all around this town. But I was trapped in love with you, and I didn't know what to do. But when I turned on my radio, I found out all I needed to know. Check it out. Last night a DJ saved my life. Last night a DJ saved my life from a broken heart. Last night a DJ saved my life. Last night a DJ saved my life with a song. Last night a DJ saved my life. Last night a DJ saved my life from a broken heart. Last night a DJ saved my life. Last night a DJ saved my life with a song. Hey, listen up to your local DJ. You better hear what he's got to say.
It's not a problem that I can't fix, 'cause I can do it in the mix. And if your man gives you trouble just to move out on a double, and you don't let it trouble your brain, 'cause away goes trouble down the drain. Said away goes trouble down the drain.
Well, all right.
Dub time. It's not a problem that I can't fix, 'cause I can do it in the mix. 'Cause I can do it in the mix. 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 In the mix.
Support for community radio provided by Westfield Electroplating. Employing over 140 skilled platers, painters, and technicians, Westfield Electroplating was founded in 1946 and was the first company in the country to achieve National Aerospace and Defense Contractor Program accreditation, proudly maintaining that status for over a decade. Westfield Electroplating provides over 50 quality finishes to meet your corrosion, cosmetic, or performance needs. On the web at www.westfieldplating.com or 413-568-3716. Westfield Electroplating, putting the finishing touches on technology.
Want to know what's trending at Westfield Technical Academy? Join host Kevin Daly and Carol Groom to find out all things Tiger. Tiger Talk, Thursdays at 8 a.m. 107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:18. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching Cable Channel 15 WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board and our chief engineer, Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete, behind the glass over there. Now you can really see that my hair got cut because now we're doing this other side view. I have two guests with me this morning, so welcome. I have Judy Duffy and Dori Neuwirth, who are sisters. don't think you really look like sisters. Now that
No,
I'm really
we don't.
looking, do people say that to you all the time?
All the time. I'm
Yeah.
wondering myself.
You were, you're wondering yourself. Okay, so the reason that Dori and Judy are here is because they are going to be doing a couple of programs for us at the Senior Center this summer. And Judy, you spend your winters, you winter in Florida, is that
I do.
correct? So
Yes.
that's why we're getting summer programs. But there's some really cool programs, and I love Judy's terminology. It's programs for the soul. What is it?
The body and soul.
The body and soul. That was it. Body. I almost said heart and soul. I'm like, I don't think that's right. Body and soul. So, whenever I have new people, and you're new to us here at the Senior Center, so whenever I have new people, I like to do, I do a little introduction so our viewing audience gets a sense of who you are. And since Judy apparently is the talker and the bossy one, at least according to
She is.
Dori, be careful what you tell me off air because nothing is sacred on this show. We share it all. But Judy, tell us a little bit about yourself and what your journey has been to get to the Westfield Senior Center. So are you from Westfield originally? or-
Actually, we grew up in Southwick.
Okay, close enough.
Yeah.
We like Southwick.
So that's how we started, and we always came back here. We were always back here, even though we were in Florida part of the year.
Okay.
But we always came back because our mom was here.
Okay.
And so this is second home, first home, or
Right.
whatever combination
Okay.
you want.
And what's your background, Judy? I know you're an artist, but tell us a little bit about your background.
Well,
you
I
grew up
came-
in Southwick, but
I came to art a little late. I was a professor of computer science and education at Miami-Dade College and Nova Southeastern University.
Okay, and how long were you there?
At Miami-Dade for about 30 years.
Oh, wow.
So
That's a long time.
yeah, and I lived in the Keys, which was a terrible thing to experience.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean,
I'm
yeah,
sure. yeah.
Everybody wants to. And taught at Homestead campus. So
Okay.
it was a nice life. And when I finally retired, I was able to return to things I love, like art.
So let me get this. So you were teaching, what were you teaching? Computer?
Computer science, so left brain, right brain.
Boy,
keep
that is
switching back and
my
forth.
thought. That is exactly what I was thinking. It was like, talk about a left brain, right brain, completely the opposite of what you would think. I was ready for you to say, oh, I taught in the theater arts department. I taught in the music department.
I got tired of that, so it was time to go back to art.
And so tell us a little bit about your background with art. How did that start?
Well,
When
I've
did that start?
always loved art, and in the Keys, I was in the Purple Isles Art Guild.
Okay.
And took a lot of classes and enjoyed the company of a lot of other artists. And when I retired and had time, this was for me.
So what kind of art do you like doing for yourself?
Primarily watercolors and acrylics.
Okay. All right. Do you have a home filled with all of your
Yeah. Too much.
Too much. Okay. All right. And I want to bring Dori in, and because you're also sort of the artsy kind of person. So tell us about Dori.
Yes, and my background is pretty much like Judy. Actually, I went to Westfield High.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm home.
Yes,
and,
you are.
And I, too, taught at Nova University, was a high school teacher for many years.
And what did you teach?
Computers also.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
You're not twins, are you? Like
No, you
okay.
can tell it, Julie. Don't look like it all.
Well, you could be non-identical.
Yeah. But, yeah, and I really did enjoyed teaching.
Okay.
And computers were great at that time. I loved it. But I always liked the arts. And but Judy is really an extremely talented artist. I just play with it.
You play with
I
it.
do enjoy it.
Now, were your parents artists or into
Our
sort of
dad,
into
our
the arts?
dad was,
little
he
bit.
liked to draw.
Okay.
And our mother was a rockette. So there was always dance involved and there was always movement involved.
She was.
Listen, I grew up in northern New Jersey, and my dream was to be a Rockette.
Oh.
My mother took me to Radio City Music Hall to watch the Rockettes when I was probably about 8. And I thought that must be the greatest thing ever. And when I had my first job, I was a social worker in a small nursing home in northern New Jersey. And the daughter of one of my patients had been a Rockette. And I was like in awe. I was enamored. I was in my early 20s at the time, but I just thought, this just must be the coolest thing ever.
I think she enjoyed it a lot.
Oh, I love to dance, and I used to dance a lot. But I just thought that was, A rock cat. Okay. So we had dad who liked to draw, mom who liked to dance. I can see how all this happened.
Yeah, well, it is what it is, and we benefited from both of them.
Okay. And so now let's bring this to now. So are you both, now do you also live in Florida for the winter? Okay. So you both come back
We both
north for the summer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Summer.
So what do you
Spring-
consider,
spring
spring
through
summer?
fall.
I was going to say, what do you consider, like when to when? When are you up here?
We're back in April-ish,
Okay.
and then stay through October,
Okay.
November, depending on how bad the snow is.
Okay.
We run away. We're snow averse.
I totally understand that. We have a lot of people up here who would pay to do that. So let's talk a little bit about the program that you're going to be doing at the Senior Center this summer, which is called Art for Good. So first of all, let me just announce for those of my regular viewers who don't know and those Senior Center participants who don't know. So we've been doing an art class. The Art Unlimited class has been going on for years at the Senior Center. And Carol Siren, who is running that program now, is actually taking the summer off. So she's going to take off July and August. And in come, Judy and Dori, who are going to just slide right in there and run a bit of a different program. I love this program. I like to think of it as like art with a twist. So tell us about, it's called Art for, the number 4, Good, Art for Good. So tell us about Art for Good and what the program's all about and your vision and how this all got started.
Sure. Well, Dori and I are both very community-minded.
Okay.
So we're always looking for community service projects, but we also both enjoy art. For me, painting, and for Dori, a lot of different crafts.
Okay.
And so we tried to figure out a way to combine these two. And that's where Art for Good came from. We figured we might as well do our art, and rather than just do it and try to sell it, make a couple of bucks, why don't we instead sell whatever we make, and donate that money to the local food banks.
Yeah, I love that idea. And we know right now, we have such a problem with food insecurity. We just started a food drive for the students at Westfield State who are, foster youth, and they've aged out of that program, so they're kind of like on their own. But we also have a lot of seniors who, are dealing with food insecurity. So, and everybody in between. I mean, we have families, and I know the Boys and Girls Club has been, trying to help. And we have the food pantry here in Westfield. So, what a great, so tell us the specifics of how this program works in terms of, where do these things get sold?
So the way it started is we reached out to other artists, and some of them from Florida, and some from here, and we said, would you like to help us create? And what we're going to do is sell what we can at the Pioneer Valley Art Festival, August 21st and 22nd this year. Please come.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, because that's where the items will be sold. Then we'll talk about what's going to get sold. But tell us about the Arts Festival. Where is that?
It's at the Polish American Club on Feeding Hills Road.
Okay.
And it's sponsored by Agawam Community Artists and Artisans, something that Dori and I have been a part of for a very long time.
Okay.
And we have 2 tables inside the pavilion, and I have art from sculptors in Florida I've dragged up here.
Oh my gosh.
And I have art that I've created, and Dori's got art that her women's group created. We have lots of art, and it's all going to be sold at relatively inexpensive prices, with the point of making as much as we can for a local food pantry.
Nice.
So Art for Good.
Art for Good. Art for Good. I love that. Dori, what do you tell us? What's your vision for this?
This pretty much the same. I've been involved with community service in Florida with the Women's Club. We have a large women's club there, and I was the chair of community service. And we were always trying to think of ways to raise funds so we could do good. So we have classes that some of our members would teach, and there were so many great classes, and the items turned out just great.
Yeah.
So I decided, well, let's just bring that idea down here, so along with the paintings and things that Judy does, we can make things and then with a group, and then participate with Pioneer Valley and sell them again for the food pantries.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about. Now let me have you. This is MOGO. Make one, give one. That's right. Because I put that right in my article. We have all of this for those of you who are like trying to frantically write down all this stuff. It's all in the newsletter. It's all in the July newsletter. It'll be. It's got its own article on the Art for Good program. Judy and Dori, the days. So they're actually at the Senior Center going to be running these programs on the same days as we were doing the art class, the Art Unlimited class. So it'll be the first and the third Thursday of each month, July and August, from 1:30 to 3:30. But tell us about this make one, give one concept, MOGO. I love that, MOGO, make one, give one. How does that work?
Well, what we started doing was thinking, okay, we're going to teach people these new techniques or this new craft or this new project.
Yep.
And that's useful. That's wonderful. They can enjoy, make and take.
Mm-hmm.
However, that doesn't do anything for the food pantries.
Right.
So we came up with MOGO.
Okay.
You can make one, but the obligation is also, it's all free.
Yep.
The obligation is you also have to make a second one to give to our project, Art for Good.
To give to the booth.
Yeah, to give to the booth so we can sell it. So your experience is not just learning a new project, it's also providing a project to the community so we can raise some money for food.
Yeah, I love this concept. I just think it's so great because it's really combining a community service, which we know there's this huge need. We know, we just know right now. And you can't go into a grocery store and get a dozen items and come out spending less than $75. I mean, I just can't believe how much food is, how expensive it is right now.
It's painful for a lot of people.
It really is. It really, really is. So something like this where there's such a need and this is such a community service, but you're also doing something that's so fun and so creative and, can really be so peaceful for people. I just find that, that creativity piece. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the types of things that people could expect to make. I know Judy shared a few ideas with me. I'm like super excited about this program. And I think it's going, I have no doubt that we're going to easily recruit. We're going to have a full house. So it's going to be one of those big things. All right. So let's take a short break. It is Bunch of Balloons Month, so we're celebrating giving balloons, especially to children, but I would argue also adults who are battling some kind of a long-term illness. So we're going to listen to the Fifth Dimension singing Up, Up, and Away. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching Cable Channel 15, WCPC. My guests this morning are Judy, Duffy, and Dori Neuwirth. We're talking about Art for Good at the Senior Center. So we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Would you like to ride in my beautiful balloon? Would you like to ride in my beautiful balloon? We could float among the stars together, you and I. For we can fly up, up and away, my beautiful balloon. The world's a nicer place
Hi, it's Bob Plass, and I have Wow, It's Tuesday every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Wow, it's Tuesday.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM WSFD.
I did it!
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:34. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching cable channel 15 WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. We are live today. So the reason that we have to keep saying that is because after I had my foot surgery, I was non-weight bearing and not driving for almost 6 weeks. So Pete and I were doing best of shows. So what we do is we pull some of the shows that we've done in the past, and considering the fact that we, I believe, now are entering our 13th year of doing this, we had a lot of shows to pull from. But so they have not been live, but we are back in studio. So my guests this morning are Judy Duffy and Dori Neuwirth. They are sisters. They are artists and crafters. We're talking about a program that they're going to be running at the Senior Center this summer called Art for Good. So this is kind of a combination, just to sum up, a combination of sort of community service and arts and crafts. And they have this concept of MOGO, which is make one, give one. So everyone who participates in the class will do 2 projects, one that they'll keep for themselves and one that they're going to donate, and give us the dates and where these items are going to be sold in the name of the festival.
Okay, the festival's the Pioneer Valley Art Festival, run by Agawam Community Artists and Artisans, and it's at the Polish American Club on Feeding Hills Road 57. And it's August 21 and 22. And we'll be there with 2 tables full of wonderful arts and crafts.
Yeah.
And every penny that we make goes directly to a food pantry.
So the what was I going to ask you? The arts festival. Not having a calendar in front of me. What days of the week are
That's
those?
a Friday.
Friday and Saturday.
And Saturday.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's talk about what the kinds of things what kinds of projects do you have in mind for us to do at the Senior Center?
Well, we want to test everything before we try.
Okay,
Some things we've already done.
Fair enough.
But we are going to do some decoupage. Our first class is going to be decoupage, and we're going to decoupage custom soaps.
Okay, so here's the question, because I said this to our director, Mike Squindo. I was telling him about the program. Of course, I'm all enthusiastic. Told him you were going to be on my show. And I said, I think the first project is going to be decoupage. And of course, his first response was, what the heck is decoupage? So I figure if my director doesn't know, we probably have people in the viewing audience that don't know. So what is decoupage? Explain that. And then you can explain the soap piece of it.
Yes. Okay, Dor, go ahead.
Yeah. The decoupage, it's such a fun and easy craft.
Okay.
And it's using napkins. Usually napkins, could be other things, but we're going to be using napkins.
Okay.
And napkins actually are several plies, sometimes 3 plies.
Right.
So you're actually taking off the top layer. So you find napkins that you really like, and then you use those, and with a glue, usually Mod Podge, you put those on an object. We're going to be doing soap, but and then you just put another layer of Mod Podge on top of that napkin, and it just adheres, and it just looks like it's part of it.
So how did you choose soap? I'm curious about the soap concept. How did you choose soap?
We started...
I wouldn't have even thought of that. I'm like, where did that idea come from?
We started last year, and we actually made necklaces. We decoupaged little pieces of wood, pendants, and that turned out very nice. We still have some of those, so we thought we need something new. So we were kind of exploring the internet to see other things, because you can decoupage just about anything. And then we came up with something that looked very interesting and easy, and that was you doing soap. So you can actually decoupage soap. And I know even I have purchased soap that's really pretty, fancy. So I thought, this would be a good project, and pass it on to Judy. And actually, I think she tried it the other day and said it turned out quite nice.
So do you just use like a regular bar of something? I have zero vision of this.
Bar
of
soap.
Just a bar of soap.
We were using...
Now, once you decoupage it, though...
You still can use it.
You can?
Yes. Yep. That was one of our things, is we wanted to have something that was useful.
You can still use it even though
Yes.
it's got a napkin and glue?
Yeah. So the top part is the decorative part.
Okay.
And when you use the bar of soap, actually it's dissolving from the bottom. So eventually, if you wanted to use it, probably people will keep that like
yeah, that's
as
their
a decorative
fancy.
piece. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does dissolve from the bottom, so that eventually you end up with just like a sliver. With
Okay,
the
with the
decoration at top.
decoration on the top. How cool is that?
It was very cool.
Well, I mean, and of course, I have all kinds of visions for this because you could do like a whole little basket with little soaps in
betcha.
it, and
Great gifts.
yes,
Yep.
great gifts and practical. That's my thing, you know. It's like
Yeah, it's great. We can do we'll do seasonal soaps, and then just decorative soaps that match people's bathrooms.
Oh, you could go wild with this. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
thinking like think of the
yeah.
possibilities because you could do themed. You know, you could have napkins for different holidays, and you know,
you bet.
I mean, you could do like birthday soaps and have napkins with balloons or something. I mean, you know, the possibilities are endless.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Oh,
We'll
that
bring
sounds so
some
fun.
over and
Okay.
for the display.
Yeah, so yes, and I did explain too, for those of you who are familiar with the Senior Center and our art program, you know that Carol Sierron, and she started this too, which was a huge hit. You know, she would bring samples of what the finished products might look like, so people, when they signed up, it's like, oh yeah, I want to make one of those. You know, and they so that was I just thought that was a great idea. So we switch that out every month, whatever her projects are. She'll bring in a couple samples, and I'll put it in there, and so we have a little sign that goes with it. Okay, this is what you'll be working on this day, and this is what you'll be working on another day. And that's really helped people because a lot of people are like me. I'm visual. Mike Squindo's the same way. He's like, "What's decoupage? I need to see it. I need to feel it." And I said, "Yeah. We'll have a sample. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
So I
So
love
that's
that
one of the
idea.
projects, yes.
Okay.
It'll be fun.
So is that going to be one of the first projects?
That's the
'Cause,
first
Yeah,
one.
that'll be the first project. Are you
We'll
gonna-
get everybody very confident.
I know.
after
Well, that's the
doing
thing.
that.
I'm confident. I haven't even done it yet. I am certainly not no artist. You know, I'm not an artist. But okay. Other ideas for down the road?
second
Are you
project,
sharing?
Once you've got yourself cleaned up,
Yeah, with your soap.
Then what we're going to do is wine glasses or drinking glasses.
Okay.
And we'll be decorating those with acrylics that won't wash off.
I love
and
that
that make
idea.
a beautiful set.
Yeah, I love that idea because I have. You know, people have given me gifts that they've done. I love those. Those are like my special glasses.
Yeah.
And you're right. Even if it's a wine glass, I'll put fruit juice in it or ginger ale or wine too sometimes, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah,
But I love that.
we have both kinds of glasses,
Yeah.
so people can choose what they'd like to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
And again, people, however you're decorating those glasses, you don't have to be.
Not an artist.
Oh, no, all you have to-
You don't have to paint a mural on the
No,
glass.
you just have to drive a Q-tip.
Yeah,
'Cause
there you go.
We have managed to come up with ways to decorate a beautiful glass using Q-tips.
Yeah, well, the ones that I've seen, the ones that I've received and seen have like polka dots and zigzag lines, and
Right.
they look really fun and festive. And it doesn't. I can do polka dots. I can do zigzag lines. I don't.
And it turns out so cute.
Yeah.
I always say, excuse me, I always say if you can dot it, you can do it.
I love that.
Because really, we're just using lots of dots. You can do lines as well, but it's amazing what kind of things you can do with just dots.
Beautiful floral patterns with dots. It's just
If you
easy,
can dot it, you can do
beautiful,
it.
and useful.
You two have these. I love this. We have. If you can dot it, you can do it. We've got Mogo, make one, give one. We've got Art for Good. You've got quite the flair for coming up with titles. I usually when we start a new program, that's my big thing. Like, what are we going to call it? It has to have a catchy phrase. It has to have a catchy name. Right. I'm going to call on you two. All right, here's my idea. Now, what are we going to call this? All right, if you're just joining us this morning, my guests are Judy, Duffy. Yeah, I keep wanting to throw is it Lever in there? Lever Duffy.
It's easier.
Yeah, Judy Duffy and Dori Neuwirth, who are sisters. And they're going to be doing an art program at the Senior Center this summer called Art for Good. And participants will be making something for themselves to keep. and then making something to be sold at the
Pioneer Valley Art Festival.
Pioneer Valley Art Festival. I got to get that straight. I have in my head where it is, Polish American Club on Feeding Hills Road. Is that in Agawam? Is that where that is?
Yeah, it's just over the line. So it's,
right in the Westfield Agawam area. All right, let's take a short break. It is 7:44. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial and WCPC cable channel 15. And when we come back, we're going to talk about another program that Judy's going to be running at the Senior Center this summer. And that's one that falls under the fitness genre. So we'll talk about that when we come back. It is Cataract Awareness Month, so we're going to listen to Johnny Nash singing I Can See Clearly Now. We will be back.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. I think I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day.
Join me, Tina Gorman, each week from 6 to 8 a.m. for Wake Up Wednesday, when my guests and I discuss health, wellness, and lifestyle reimagined.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:48. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching cable channel 15, WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. Behind the glass is the chairman of the board and our chief engineer, Pete Coles. My guests this morning are Judy Duffy and Dori Neuwirth. They are sisters, and they are actually going to be doing two programs. So Judy's going to be doing two programs. Dori's going to be doing the Art for Good program, which we've talked about. But Judy, you're also doing another program for us this summer, which is totally not the art side of it. We talked about body and was it body and soul? Is that what we talked about? Yeah, body and soul. So that was the soul part of it. So let's talk about the body part of it. You are going to be doing Tai Chi, facilitating a Tai Chi group. So tell us about Tai Chi.
Tai Chi I've been doing for about 15, 20 years.
Okay.
And it is the best stress reliever that you could possibly have. I had a high energy job and a lot of responsibility. So for me, I needed a break. And I needed to also find a way to move and stretch in ways that I wasn't doing when I was a professor, which required standing in front of a class, lots of hours. And it just didn't provide a lot of movement or stretching or comfort. So I started taking Tai Chi. I follow the Taoist Tai Chi style. A monk many years ago came to Canada, and he adapted a very traditional 108 move Yang style Tai Chi to North American audiences. He found that his name is Moy Lin Shin, but long parted, but he found that North American people, especially seniors, couldn't manage a very traditional Tai Chi, so he adapted it. And included in it a lot of stretching, more stretching than normal, less bending, less down to the floor kind of martial arts stuff. And instead tried to change the Tai Chi moves so that anyone could do any of them.
So can you, for people who, I think we've all heard of Tai Chi, but I think many people have never seen Tai Chi. Can you kind of describe it for folks?
Some people look at it and see the choreographed dance that is Tai Chi. And it's very beautiful when a group all are very familiar with all the moves and they do them in sequence together. It's a beautiful look. You've probably seen images in the park of people doing Tai Chi. But it's more than that. It's actually individually the process of having your body make slow, deliberate movements that are not stressful to your body. And that you just find a way to concentrate on making these slow, deliberate movements. And ultimately, it builds into a sequence that looks very pretty together. But the object is not the sequence of moves. It is the movement itself. So the stretch, the careful step, the turn without stressing your body. It's good for absolutely everybody, and it's really good for your muscles and for your internal organs because you just get to move everything. It's a very powerful, positive effect on your body.
And my understanding, Judy, is that it's Tai Chi is rather slow moving, correct? I mean, this is not like a high impact, we're putting on the disco music kind of thing. Is there any music in the background, or is it? Do you typically do it with just quiet?
It depends on the group. So some groups do like to have quiet music in the background. Others really find that a distraction because Tai Chi can be meditative. Because you're concentrating on moving your body in this deliberate, slow fashion, and as a result, you lose yourself in the movement. And so your mind quiets. They call it the monkey chatter of your mind. You can't monkey chatter and do Tai Chi at the same time. You've got to concentrate. And that is why your mind quiets and you release stress because you're no longer thinking about all those things you got to worry about. And you're just thinking, okay, step to the right, heel first, put your toe down. And that process is what makes it possible for it to be a meditative movement.
I wonder, have you ever tried using like a white noise machine?
It's really not necessary. And I do find that if people have music in the background, they lose their place in what they're doing because they temporarily get distracted by the music. So for the most part,
it's just
quiet movement is the best. Anybody's able to do it. Even if you can't stand very long, you can do Tai Chi from a chair if you need to. But the concept is to move your body in a slow, deliberate way so that you're experiencing movement and quieting your mind. It's really a powerful thing.
So Judy, you talked about different types or styles of Tai Chi. So can you explain that a little bit?
Sure. This started all in China as a martial art. So different groups had their different founders who set up a style of this martial art. Tai Chi evolved from the martial art so that there's, for example, a punch move in Tai Chi. You're not punching anything, but it came from the martial art.
Okay, yep. Mm-hmm.
But the particular style that I'm familiar with, that I got brought up in, is 108 separate moves, some of them repeated, but in a certain sequence, 108 moves. And I'll be teaching the first 27.
Okay.
I think I can get through that, and those are fairly straightforward. And they will give everybody enough of a foundation so that if you move those 27 moves, your body's going to feel really good and your mind's going to be very calm.
Okay. And now, is this, we're doing this as a drop-in, so you don't have to sign up for the series or anything. Does one class sort of build on the next? Is that sort of how that works?
While that's true, so that if you're doing 27 move, if you're up to 26.
Yeah.
But anybody can drop in any time.
Okay.
Because you
can begin to learn things.
Yes, you repeat every move every time, because every time you repeat something, you're still moving.
Yes. So now, are you, as the facilitator, as the leader of this, do the moves have names? I'm trying to figure out how do people know what they're doing? Is that what you're doing? You're calling out the name of whatever the move.
Names,
okay.
Right.
What are some of the names?
Well, to start, we'll do commencement of Tai Chi, then left grasp bird's tail, then grasp bird's tail, then single whip. It's a sequence of names. And the names are not significant. They're just to help people remember what comes next, what movement comes next.
Yeah. I am so interested in it. Well, for one thing, because I do a falls prevention program through my Senior Safe grant. So I feel like anything that helps with balance. And I can tell you, I got, just having had the foot surgery, and even though now I'm weight bearing, my balance is off. Even coming down the stairs, I have to be hanging on to something. And I do stretches every day. I'm in, pretty good shape. I run, but I just find that balance as people age, and I find for myself in the morning, even when I'm doing stretches, when I first wake up, my balance is off. If I wait and do my exercises an hour into it, my balance is better. Of course, I've also, now I've also lost the mojo to do it. So I have to kind of do it first thing. But, I've had discussions with our group fitness instructor, Carol Palmer, about that, and just how important balance is. But I think that Tai Chi can really help in that area.
It does. It helps you to focus.
Yeah.
And you're taking very slow, deliberate steps.
Yep.
And when you do that, you concentrate.
Yeah.
And you're concentrating on not taking a misstep or not just moving your foot in an odd way.
Yeah.
So by taking these slow, deliberate steps, it does improve your balance. You become aware of your body's movement.
Okay.
And that is what improves your balance.
So let's talk, because we're almost out of time. But Judy, what would, because I got to figure out how I can get this on my schedule, which I think I may be able to. Mondays what are we doing? Mondays from 11:30 to 12:30.
Right.
What would people wear for someone who's never done this before? Tell us what is the
very comfortable
appropriate attire?
Yeah. Any comfortable exercise clothes, non-restrictive.
Okay.
So
T-shirt, like yoga pants kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
And above all else, you want to make sure you're wearing flat shoes, or you can do Tai Chi in your stocking feet.
Okay.
But you don't want to be doing like running shoes, because they are padded and they throw your body off.
Your balance would be wacky.
Right. So comfortable, relaxed, and then if you insist, like Keds would work, that kind of flat
or almost like ballet slippers or something that's just very not a lot of
that would work.
And as a reminder for those of you who have never taken a fitness class with us, we do require that if you are going to wear footwear, any kind of footwear, that you change that before going on the hardwood floor. We've kept our floor really beautiful for almost 11 years now, and that's the way I want to keep it for the next 11 years. But as you said, Judy, socks are fine too.
Yes,
so
that'll work
that's perfectly fine. All right, our time is up. I want to thank my guests this morning, Dori Neuwirth and Judy Duffy, for joining me. These articles on the Art for Good program, as well as the complimentary summer Tai Chi classes. Oh, yes, I forgot to mention.
Oh, yeah.
Tai Chi classes are complimentary there. There's no charge for that. And no pre-registration for that. You're just going to show up. Though that information will all be in the July Voice of Experience newsletter. Those articles are written and they're being shipped off for publication this weekend. So we're going to be good to go. I want to thank you for joining me. Next week, Jen Jaffoon will be back. We'd like to call her our resident dietitian and licensed nutritionist. Jen runs our diabetes support and education group and joins me on my show the last Wednesday of the month for our Food for Thought segment. And I am trying to remember I think that we're talking about travel. So how to kind of stay on your diabetic diet or any kind of a healthy food plan while you're vacationing or traveling this summer. So that's the topic next week. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching cable channel 15. Thank you for joining us this morning, and I'll be back next week. Have a good one.
Support for the community programming is provided by the